Hello everyone, my name is Wilawan Champakaew. I am a representative of our research team from Linguistics, Literature and Language Education for Sustainability from School of Liberal Arts, Wilawan University, Chiang, Thailand. The topic today that I'm going to present is Linguistic Landscape and Cultural Globalization, a comparative study of signages in a multicultural environment. There are 5 topics that I'm going to cover, which are introduction, methodology, results, conclusion, and recommendation. All right. Thailand is a multicultural country which comprises different cultures in many areas, such as races and religions, representing the plurality in its society. This diversity reflects the welcoming attitude toward the differences or cultural diversity. One of the most obvious diversifications in Thailand is the plurality of religion. According to the National Statistical Office in 2015, most of Thai people, around 95%, practice Theravada Buddhism. However, there are some other religions such as Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, and Chinese Buddhism. This diversity, we could claim that it is due to globalization. According to Yarsin 2018, globalization is the way things expand and connect beyond the national boundaries. When people move around from one place to another, they bring with them their attitude, their values, and their beliefs. So cultural globalization is concerned. Religion and culture are inseparable, as beliefs and practices are uniquely cultural. There are 2 main cultures which draw the attention of the researchers, which are Chinese and Hinduism temples. Chinese representing Chinese Buddhism practice, and Hinduism temple representing Hinduism practice. So these 2 temples were chosen as our main culture in the study. However, since each culture has its own uniqueness, so it could be very difficult for people from different culture to understand and behave in the righteous manners. What could be helpful is the signages or the language on the sites in the area. As the language and culture can be barriers for people to understand, so language on the signages could be very helpful. And this is related to linguistic landscape in this study, which refers to the visibility and salience of languages on public and commercial sites in a given territory or region. So there are 2 research questions in the study. First, what are the visible languages in the linguistic landscape of temples in the 2 multicultural areas? And second, what are the functions of signages found in the temples in the 2 multicultural areas? For the term sign, it is a notice giving information, directions, a warning, such as a road sign and a stop sign, according to Cambridge Dictionary in 2021. For the term linguistic landscape, it is the language of public road signs, advertising billboards, street names, place names, commercial shop signs, and public signs on government buildings combined to form the linguistic landscape of a given territory, region, or urban agglomeration. according to Landry and Voorhees in 1997. For the methodology, the two designated areas representing multicultural environment were the site of the study. And the selection criteria, there are three main selection criteria, which are popularity, convenience, and accessibility. The types of signages by Sivina and Prasidratsin in 2020 and function of signages by Yang Hong and Rung Ruang in 2013 were used as a framework in the study. As for the results, in response to the first research question, what are the visible languages in the linguistic landscape of temples in the two multicultural areas? Since there were two temples, the Chinese temple and Indian temple, there were 42 signs in Chinese temple and 31 signs in Indian temple. The two language types were found in Chinese temple, which are bilingual and multilingual. The highest number of the language found, the language type is bilingual, which is around 57.14% and 7.14% for multilingual signs. As for the Indian temple, the highest number of signs is monolingual sign, around 61.29%, followed by bilingual 35.48%, and multilingual sign around 3.23%. Here are the examples of Chinese temple signs. Monolingual sign, which means there is only one language appear on the signages. It could be either Thai, English, or Chinese. Bilingual sign, sorry for the misspelling, bilingual. There are two languages on the sides, and trilingual, there are three languages appear on the signages. As for the Indian temple, here are the examples of Indian temple: monolingual, bilingual, and trilingual. In response to the second research question, what are the functions of signages found in the temples of the two multicultural areas? There are four functions of signages, which were informational, symbolic, mythological, and commercial functions. As for the informational function, which is the borders of the territory inhabited by a linguistic group, and also the availability of a specific language to communicate in the territory. For the symbolic function, it means the perception that members of a language group have of the value and status of their languages as compared to other language. For mythological function, it means the connection to the past and transmitter of ancient culture. For commercial function, it is the language usage exclusively for product and place promotion for tourists. Moreover, more functions were discovered, which were request, instructional, order, and invitation functions. This is quite interesting. As in the Chinese temple, we could see that the highest number of function of signages found in the Chinese temple were mythological, informational, and symbolic functions. For the Indian temples, the highest number was request function, followed by invitation function and mythological function. Here are the examples of functions found in both sites. The information of function. So on the sides, you could see the information. They give the information on, such as the opening and closing time, or informing the audience about something. For the symbolic function, these could be seen only at the Chinese temple. And mythological function, they are found in both sites. For commercial function, it is only found in Chinese temple. And this one saying that, talking about the price of the oil that the participants use to show respect, and the price of the lotus. Sorry, it's in Thai. And requestive function. These could be seen in both temples, and mostly saying about requesting people not to do things, or request people to do something, like wearing masks before entering the site. So in conclusion, from our observation, we could find that in a Chinese temple, Chinese language is a primary language used to communicate with people in the area. As we can see, there are 35 signs in Chinese and 31 signs in Thai and 4 signs in English. Whereas in the Indian temple, there were 30 Thai signs and only 12 in English and only 1 sign in Hindi. It seems that the use of the Chinese language emphasizes the strong status of Chinese language, while the usage of the Chinese language appearing on the signage in the area. Unlike in Indian temple, the dominant language used was Thai. Only 1 sign was in Hindi. In conclusion, the findings of the study could benefit for the organization, such as the religious place, in terms of the cultural globalization through the use of the language. And it's interesting to see that the number of English language signs are pretty low in both places. So in order to help people to understand and have a mutual understanding between the two cultures or different culture, they need some kind of tool such as language, which is in the linguistic landscape here, to help them. So English language could help. And as we can see, the native languages of both places are quite different. Chinese is the main language in the Chinese temple, but in the Indian temple, Hindi language is the least used language. For the recommendation for further studies, there could be a study on translation strategies between the source language and the target language, which could help people to understand better. And here are the references for the study. Thank you very much for your attention.